At the beginning of the split, we were pretty shaky as a team. Reaching playoff right now is a huge improvement.
The split for us, it was hard in the start. We were pretty nervous playing on stage and we played really scared.
I said to my team, we can be top 4 if we try harder.
If they have the stronger team fighting comp, that SmittyJ is free to do whatever he wants in the team fight. He usually can carry them.
In scrims, they were really good at playing around mid-early game. I think on stage, they never really showed that. We will just beat them due to superior macro play.
I think their bot lane is the part you can exploit.
We're not scared, we just go in and if it goes bad, it sucks.
Even though they love fighting, sometimes they choose fights that are a bit pointless.
We really want to perform, that's what it comes down to. And now we gotta step up and win.
In playoffs, even if you have 6th place, anything can happen.
Just want to win everything.
Hello everyone and welcome to Berlin, Germany, where the summer split playoffs are about to begin. Today we're bringing you the first quarterfinal between the Giants and the Unicorns of Love. Whichever team comes out on top in this best of 5 is heading to Krakow, while the other team's playoff run will be over. Good evening everyone, I'm EpicSkillshot supporter, joined on the analyst desk by Martin the Fisher Lunge and Chris Senkoeks Lawson. Lauersen. Oh, almost nailed it.
We practiced for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah, but still, welcome. Thank you for joining us. You're looking forward to playoffs finally?
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good to be here and watch the game now. I don't have to play the quarters, so.
Yeah, and get some intel on the teams, obviously. And let's take a look at those teams and how the playoffs are going to shake out. Possibly, as said, today is our first quarterfinal between the Giants and the Unicorns of Love. Tomorrow, H2K versus Fnatic. And because of the seeding, it depends on the winner today who they will play up against.
Yeah, so obviously if Unicorns win, they will take on G2 because as you can see on your screen, the lowest remaining seed will play G2. And because Unicorns were number 6 in the regular season, they are stuck facing G2 if they do win. They get a tough road, or maybe they get the easy road, dodging around the Giants from Splice.
I think it's the easy road, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
who wants to face Splice, man? This team is superior.
Sorry, I'm not playing.
Oh,
But
That does also mean if the Giants win and they're up versus Splice, and they dodge H2K or Fnatic, so
Yep.
it's kind of a mutual good thing for you guys, possibly.
do you want to dodge H2K or Fnatic, or are you okay playing one of them?
no statement.
No statement. Well,
Keep me a PR already.
we'll see what happens. In any case, these summer playoffs come with a new patch and a new side selection process, and James Stress O'Leary is standing by to tell us a bit more.
Thank you very much, Shucks. Senkoeks, I hope you got a little bit more than no statement to give us throughout the day. We're looking forward to your analysis for the rest of the day. But yeah, as you said, 6:15 is upon us. It's not the only change, but we wanted to take another look at exactly what's in store for us here on the playoff patch. First thing to look at is going to be the champions that have been changed. A couple of nerfs and small tweaks to some of the major champions we've seen throughout the meta. These nerfs aren't severe enough to remove the champions out of the meta. A quick little adjustment as well to Nidalee to kind of give her extra damage by taking away the auto attack reset here. We've given her more damage on the Qs in both human and Cougar form. The champions aren't the big change for this patch though. Let's take a look at the new addition when it comes to objectives, and that is the Tower First Blood. Essentially what this gives is 400 total bonus gold to the team when one team takes the first turret on Summoner's Rift. There's a nice amount locally and a nice amount globally there as well that you can see given to the first tower kill. That is on top of the tower objective gold that you normally would get for a tower anyway. So it ends up being equal to about 750 gold for that first tower. Really important change as well that goes along with this is it is more difficult to take top lane and mid lane towers early on in the game. They get up to 50% damage reduction. It was a little lower before for the first 5 minutes of the game. That fortification buff does not apply to the bottom lane towers though, and that is the crucial thing because what does that mean? Essentially, no more lane swaps in the meta game. Gone are the days that you'd see the multicam here to track 3 lanes at once. Pretty much first tower is too important to be lane swapping, so we're expecting more emphasis on 2 versus 2 lanes down in the bottom side of the map. As always, with emphasis on 2v2s, the potential for global champions also comes back into the meta. Shen was already prevalent, so was Talia. LCK has brought us Aurelion Sol as well, so that a couple of little adjustments could have some kind of ripple effect throughout the map. But we're expecting a few more of these picks throughout the day. That's all of the patch changes. There is one important rule change for the European playoffs, and that is what we are calling dynamic side selection. In days gone by, in a best of 5, the higher seed would have to lock games 1, 3, and 5 side selection before the deadline, as would the lower seed with games 2 and 4. The important thing now and going forward in playoffs, the higher seed will lock their choice for game 1 before the day. This is Giants locking blue side in our first game of the day. From there, Unicorns, as soon as the Nexus dies in game 1, have 4 minutes to decide any substitutions and their side selection for game 2. That will continue with the seeding of Giants for game 3, Unicorns for game 4, and Giants for game 5, should those games be necessary. So there are a lot of changes. We hope that will bring some versatility and the ability for teams to adapt inside a best of 5 series already. So a lot of changes for playoffs. That's enough for what we've changed. Let's get back to the analyst desk so they can break down this series.
Well, thank you very much, Stress, for that breakdown. And I believe that Sencooks will have a thing or two to say about the patch. I mean, as far as you can, because you have to play. What for you has been the biggest change from mid lane with the fact that there's more 2 versus 2s going on in the bottom lane?
I think Melsa change is something that you didn't point out here. I think it's pretty big, the nerf to his passive shield, that is only like 1.25 now instead of 1 second. It makes a lot of matchup a lot easier to play into him, and I don't think it's going to be as highly contested. Like, we've seen SKT be the only team in Korea actually contesting it really highly, but the rest of the teams didn't play it as much. So I think that's a champion that won't see as much play. And then I think roaming champs in general, like, you can pressure the map a lot. I think that's pretty strong for the meta right now. So like, I think Talia is a pretty strong pick.
Yeah, we'll want to know also what you guys think at home, unless you got something to say to Fisho.
No, I agree 100%. I said it even on Facebook Live.
Right, that is true. That is true. That is true. Well, we want to know what you guys say as well about 6.15. So tweet at LOL Esports and tell us which team do you think will best adapt to 6.15 and why. As always, we'll take a look at your answers later. Use that hashtag EULCS and tweet at LOL Esports. But for now, we're going to see what happens in our first match of the day and our first match, and the only match of the day, of the quarterfinals in the summer playoffs. Giants versus the Unicorns of Love. And we're going to start out by taking a look at how these teams exactly got here, how their split went, and we have an overview of their wins and losses over the split.
Yeah, and obviously, as you can see, Unicorns very up and down throughout most of the split. Had a terrible start, obviously, then actually started playing much
that's
better.
Pretty much for both teams. I think both teams improved quite a lot. I think especially Giants by the end, like in the half of the split, like with us, they raced up to the top. So I think both teams improved. I think Giants maybe a bit more. So
I think it's interesting to see Giants last half of the season, outside of one really bad week where they went 0-4, they actually picked up tons of 2-0s in almost every single week otherwise. And that's why, obviously, this team is now 3rd place, because the 2-0s are so important. They give you extra points. Where Unicorns, it's very up and down. You know, they get a lot of 1-1s here, then they lose 0-2, then they win 2-0. So they were less consistent in that way, and that's why Unicorns were the last team to qualify for playoffs, and Giants actually secured their 3rd place, which is huge for them, obviously.
This is huge, and regardless of how these teams got here, actually, you hear in Splice as well, Splice, Unicorns of Love, Giants, those are not the teams we would have said would make it to playoffs, actually. I don't think anyone had even pegged you guys to be as high, and that means a lot to them, especially a team like Giants. How surprised are you in the end that they find themselves in playoffs and as a 3rd spot?
Honestly, when I saw the new roster, like, I thought the team would be better, right, than last split. I think Knight was way better when we started out screaming them before the season started, and I honestly didn't expect them to be top 3, but either did I expect us to be top 2. So
yeah, because we've had a really weird split where a lot of teams we normally expect to see perform well, like Vitality, H2K, Fnatic, Origin, they've all kind of been slumping throughout the entire split. Some of them have made tons of changes and it really hurt them a lot. And that has allowed Splice, Giants, Unicorns to kind of get into playoffs, and even Splice to secure top 2 spot, well deserved, because some of these big teams have now dropped down. And that's why I feel like Giants, I don't think they're like our standard top team where year in and year out we're going to see them in top 3. But right now they have a good roster and they deserve this spot. And that's why, again, they have this highest seed in playoffs.
They do. And the Unicorns of Love have always made it to playoffs, yet we never really talk about them that much before because we don't think they are going to go far in those playoffs. How do you, with 6.15, maybe seeing that changing here?
I don't know. I think they had some pretty wacky lane swaps, so we're not going to see that anymore. I'm not sure how much this is going to change for them. They seem to like to play around Exile a lot, so I think like mid lane is still kind of the same, so it's not going to change too much.
I think this benefits them. I think Unicorns of Love is the kind of team when they have standard setups with no shenanigans, no massive macro play, no lane swapping, as you talk about. They actually tend to play much better because their style is very much like offense is the best defense. If they can play aggressive, if they can always look for ganks with Move, like Move is the jungler who farms the least out of any jungler, but he's super active on the map. He needs standard lane setups to be very aggressive, especially around the mid lane.
Yeah, I think like Visichachi is like I think he's one of the best mechanically top laners, and I think he plays a lot of like carry style champions like Aurelia and stuff like this, and Ilaoi as one of the other one.
Sure.
So I think that not having a lane swap will benefit him a lot. I'm not sure about the bot lane. I think in this matchup, I don't think the bot lanes are particularly the strongest 2v2 laners in the league. So I think it's going to be maybe a bit, I don't know. I actually don't know which way it's going to be, but I think the top lane is going to benefit UOL more, and also agree with you that their macro play hasn't been on top, so it's going to give them a little buff.
Well, in rehearsal, the Fisho said that he thought that the UOL bot lane would do a lot better than the Giants bottom lane.
I stand by that. I think Giants bottom lane, whenever Giants have had standard lanes, have really struggled. Obviously, Sunstar is the kind of guy when he plays like Jhin and he gets out of laning phase, he's very good with long-range skill shots and setups. In the laning phase, him and Hostin has lacked a lot of synergy. I think Hylissang and Veritas will be better. I don't know if it's like, oh my god, they're going to stomp them, but I think it is an advantage for Unicorns, and it's actually why I think Unicorns as well look slightly stronger just judging from the patch, but this is the problem. 2 weeks of practice where we haven't seen the teams, like, we obviously have no idea how well they've been doing in scrim specifically.
We have no idea, so what are your predictions?
I'm going to say Unicorns will win. I'm going to give them a 3-2 because I think it's going to be super, super close, and I legit think we go 5 games, but I think Unicorns in the end will be slightly better.
I think Giants 3-2 because they can play a lot more different styles. I think UOL is really stuck to playing around mid as far as I've seen, and I think Maxor is a way better jungler at adapting, and I think if Giants like talk about the games probably after the games, I think they should be able to adapt to, like maybe they will lose 1-2 games in the beginning, but I just think they know better how to play other styles than just mid.
Maybe they lose 1 or 2 games in the
Gonna be
beginning and then
close.
reverse sweep. Yay.
Reverse sweep. We saw KT. So.
Yeah, we did. So miracles can happen, and it's an exciting shake-up to the meta. We'll see how it pans out. The players are readying up for picks and bans, so let's say hello to our casters.